Hey everyone, this is Astrid, and welcome to AviArt art class lesson 4, and I call this Spring Derby. So here you can see the project we'll be making our Spring Derby babes. It's very Kate Middleton, and if you watch the royal wedding, you probably saw all the incredible hats. So it's kind of inspired by that, I guess. And springtime's coming, so yeah. You're gonna need 3 things. You're gonna need go out on Google, Bing, wherever you search for images and find a fancy, phenomenal, pretty hat and grab a picture of that, and then go to the shop or your closet, wherever you like, and style your Avi in the makeup and hair and earrings and jewelry if you want. You can dress her if you want or not. Just take a beauty shot from just below the shoulders up. I haven't dressed my particular Avi because I'm just going to draw a little. I'm going to make the black top to match the hat later, and I can show you that. And lastly, you're going to need some sort of a spring-inspired background that you like. So that's basically the 3 items that you're going to need. So this is the Gimp tutorial. And here I've already put the 3 layers of the 3 items. So I'm just going to label these because I forgot. So we've got, at the very bottom, we've got the background. And then we've got our Avi Beauty. And the top layer will be the hat. So depending on the hair you chose and the hat you chose, you may end up with a problem a bit like mine. And but we're going to fix that. I want her hair to come over the hat a little bit. So I'm going to grab the free select tool and just going with the magnifying glass, just going to zoom in once here. And we're just going to start cutting out the hat. But first of all, you want to see where the hair is going to fall. So just lower the opacity. It's here on your layers tab. And this is already 70, 68, so about there. That's about 65%. Just enough so that you can see the hairline. Okay. I'm using the free select tool. There's other tools you can use like the eraser brush, but with the free select tool, and as you work and get comfortable with these programs, you know, you're going to find what's comfortable for you. But with the free select tool, you're going to find that you can be a little more precise and get a little bit closer to the edges. So you just move along the hairline here and click every few pixels, following the lines and the curves. And I'm just clicking down on the picture. Again, make sure your hat layer is the one that's selected because that's what we're removing. And just follow along like so. And I'm just going to go over to the other side here. And see those little wispy strands of hair? We're going to get those as well because I want those to come over the hat as well. So normally I'm a lot more picky and detailed, but I'm trying to do this fast so that the video doesn't end up being too long. And you just connect them by clicking in the first circle. And when you see the dotted line, like so, you can just hit delete on your keyboard. Now I'm just going to zoom in again with select the magnifying glass a little closer to the wispy strands of hair here. and we're just going to remove that as well. So just follow along the curves here. Now if you go a little bit over, because as it gets really thin here where I'm working right now, it's almost impossible to not make your cut lines a little too big. That's okay. I'm going to show you a trick to fix that when we're all done. And again, click in the first circle to select it. Hit delete on your keyboard. Now we'll just, oops, go over to the other side here. Oh, what happened? Okay, sorry, something weird is happening. I find Gimp has some strange little issues. Okay, got rid of that. Again, as you know, Gimp is not my first program that I prefer working with. I'm a Photoshopper, and they are very much the same. But oops. But Gimp is free, and that's great because you can do a lot with Gimp that you can do with Photoshop, but it is finicky, I found, and forces you to take a few extra steps that Photoshop is just maybe a little more intuitive. So now that I've re-downloaded it and I'm working with it, I can see why some of you probably have been confused by the Photoshop tutorials and trying to refer to those for Gimp. So I do apologize. The first time I downloaded Gimp, it didn't work properly on my computer. And it still has some issues, but doing my best. Okay, so we're just going to get this little piece up here. And that should do it. Let's just zoom out here on the view. Zoom, fit image and window. There we go. So that looks okay. Let's just, excuse me, move the opacity layer back up to 100%. And as you can see that I warned you, you just zoom in here in case you can't see it properly, but there's some little white lines around there where I deleted too much, so I'm just going to go in and fix that right now. So I'm going to click on the background layer and add another layer. And then with the color picker tool, just select one of the darker colors in your hat so it looks like shading, and then with the brush tool, and make sure you're on that layer. I'm just going to call this hat hairline fixes, so I know. And now you're just going to draw in there. So I think I have some white lines here, but if I just take the visibility off those other layers on top, you can see what I'm doing here. But I may have some white lines there because I now see that Gimp wants to do that. Leaves a lot of white lines. So, okay, for the sake of being quick here, that should do it. That gives you the idea anyway. So now the other thing I want to do with this hat is, you see the ribbon layers here. They're kind of a translucent, transparent, or sheer, I should say, ribbons. And so I want to make that look a little bit more realistic so that the background shines through. So I'm going to cut out these pieces, and maybe you don't have a hat, maybe you didn't choose a hat that has this, but maybe in the future or some other projects you want to work on, you'll run into this, and I'll show you how we can make that work out. So I'm going to click on the hat layer and zoom in, and with the fuzzy select tool, I'm just going to be just roughly kind of and on the other side. So now we're going to make another layer right underneath the hat. So now we're just going to draw in behind the areas that we deleted. Sorry, I'm not sure if I mentioned, but that's with the paintbrush tool. And here I have it set to 11. If you're coloring in really small areas, then you just adjust your paintbrush to a smaller size. And if you see that black circle, I don't know what happened there. I'm trying to be quick. So some sort of mistake that I can't figure out where it is. Anyway, so let's zoom out. And now while on that layer, I'm just going to call it Ribbon Fixes, we're going to adjust the opacity. Let's try 50%. And that looks pretty good. So the next thing we want to do is make a shadow for her to just kind of pop out from the background. No, sorry, that's wrong. Now we're going to, if you haven't dressed her, what I'm going to do is just make her top a matching color to the hat. So again, with the paintbrush tool, on the Avi layer, I'm just coloring in her top here. Again, I'm just doing this quickly. And I'm just going to go a tad darker for the shadow area here. And this is very much the same method I would use to, I don't know, if you want to dress her from a picture and you've got a lower cut top or something and you want to add skin tone where the black top would be, that's kind of the same method I would use as well. Just with the color select tool, choose the skin color and draw it in. Okay, so now we will do the shadow. So to get a proper shadow, what we need to do is we need to merge the layers, basically from the hat to the one just before the background, but not including the background. So if you know a tip in Gimp that you can select all the layers at once, maybe you can post it below, because in Photoshop you just hold the shift key and it selects them all, and here the only thing I can find is a merge down. So you just select the top layer, right click, merge down, select top layer, right click, merge down, until you've got one layer with your hat and your Avi and all the fixes on it. So this has now become our Avi. And we're going to right click and duplicate the layer and take the bottom layer. Make sure you have the bottom layer and go color, colorize, and make the hue all the way to 360, the saturation all to 360, and the lightness all the way to -100. And then you've got a black silhouette of your Avi, which will become the shadow. I'm just going to make the top layer visible again while still remaining on the bottom layer. And now we're going to go filter, blur, and select Gaussian blur. And I want it quite high because I don't really want it to look like a realistic shadow. I want it to look just more to give her some depth from the background. So let's try 50. And that looks pretty good, but I think I want it even more. And I'm just going to lower this to 30. And that looks pretty good. You can always play with the opacity on that layer if you want. Actually, I think I'm going to do it even more. There we go. That looks good. And that's the basics of this lesson. Pretty easy. If you want to add your own personal touches, you know, you can find flowers or a bird or whatever crazy things that Brits wear in their hats. And you can design a special hat if you like. So have fun with it. Be unique. Put your own spin on it. And can't wait to see your spring derby beauties. Have fun.